Coach, looking back to last weekend and perhaps the weekend before, you go 3 wins and then 2 losses. What was the big difference last weekend compared to the prior week?
Well, certainly, I don't know what happened between Saturday and Friday in terms of how things transpired. I mean, Friday, I think, was a game that we could have had easily and should have had, quite frankly. Saturday, going into the weekend, you knew that it was going to be a tough matchup. Manitoba's been a tough team on us in terms of how they play and their size and their compete and that type of thing. And so we were, you go into the week hoping for 4 and know that if you get the split, and unfortunately we didn't. So it was kind of like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of situation with our 4-game point streak, and then you have a lull in the schedule, unfortunately. And I'm not saying blaming it on no Wednesday game, but we were a little bit sluggish on Friday, even though I thought there was certainly enough chances and opportunities to win that game, and they got a late goal, and Saturday just certainly wasn't meant to be from start to finish. I thought Manitoba was the better team, so all you can do is turn the page and go back to work tonight. And obviously when you got the 2 best teams in the conference coming in this week, you need to be sharp, you need to be good, and you need to play to your identity. And if that happens, I think we'll be in the games all week, and if not, then it's going to be a tough battle.
Yeah, and how have the practices been early on in the week? What sort of things do you do to try to do that exactly, turn the page and focus on a couple tough opponents?
Well, I thought Monday was a real good practice, and certainly after the day off, we worked on some areas of our game. Yesterday was just more of a pace and power play type day. We certainly have some roster issues with our numbers, so it was difficult to have a full type of practice where you could work anything yesterday in terms of our line combinations and that type of thing. So we stuck more to our power play, which has been a struggle here the last 6 games, and that's what you need to do, is kind of keep the legs fresh and come ready to play tonight.
Last week it was all about the structure and I guess the shots impression of the Manitoba Moose. With Toronto Marlies, it's the transition game, the high-flying offense. How do you kind of combat that?
Well, we certainly don't want to get into a game how they're going to play, and that was our point this morning, that high transition, I believe their power play is first in the league, and so in terms of discipline, our PK certainly will have to be sharp tonight, and from our transitional perspective, you don't want to get into that type of game with them because they have the ability to finish, and we certainly seen that in our last game. The 2 wins that we have against the Marlies, I think we played to our identity and played to our structure, and we were able to come out victorious. And the games that we have not been sharp in terms of playing to the identity and letting them kind of take over how they want to play, it hasn't ended well. And unfortunately, last time we played them, I thought could have been our best period of the year, and you don't get any goals on wall, and next thing you know, they get a transitional break and it's 1-0. So that's just the type of team they are, and they've been like that for years. And for us, we just got to be aware of that, and hopefully the PK and Mando is sharp tonight. And if we can get a little help from the waiver wire today, we can get Lucchini back, who obviously is a big part of our team, and as the old expression goes, is one of those straws that stirs the drink. And so we'll see what happens here prior to our game, but selfishly we're looking forward to hopefully getting him back in the lineup.
Jacob Bernard-Docker's back in the NHL, but that's an opportunity for Max Gannett. I know you said after Saturday's game you really liked the way he was playing, and JD's back in the lineup as well now, I assume. How much of an opportunity is for those guys to kind of keep developing?
Well, I think when it comes to Jack Doherty, I mean, we kept him around here for a reason, right? He didn't play last week for, I guess, over 2 weekends, and that's why we put him back in Saturday. We went 11-7 just to make sure he doesn't get stale in terms of healthy scratching, and next thing you know, JBD's gone. So that's just opportunity for him, and he's a good seasoned vet. That's nice to have as your 7th defenseman, especially when you don't have a vet problem. And when it comes to Max Gannett, it just means more responsibility, and we're going to tweak the power play units again tonight and get him back on, I guess, the first unit, and he'll be playing with Heater, and so that gives him more minutes, 5-on-5, more responsibility, playing against guys like Shaw's line. So good opportunity for him, and and obviously nice to have a guy sitting in the wings like JD.
You mentioned the roster shuffling. What is the latest on the injury front, and what are the timelines for those newly affected guys, I suppose?
Well, much like our play or our wins and losses the last 2 weeks, it's kind of one step forward, two steps back. Saulnier's back, and so he's ready to go. But unfortunately, Lodin has the flu, and so he'll be out tonight. And then we've got Bibo out day to day, nicked up from practice. So he's unavailable. Sogart unavailable as well, lower body injury. So we're looking at day to day, and I guess maybe our practices are a little bit too difficult because Joe Carroll went down yesterday too, a little bit of a freak accident on the power play, and he jammed his wrist. So he's kind of day to day until we get the swelling down and we get some imaging to see if there's anything wrong there. So all of a sudden, those are 4 guys unavailable. So great opportunity for Mando. Hasn't played in a couple of weeks after only the 2 games set, and he's coming off a great performance. So and he'll need to be sharp tonight against a Marlies team that are real difficult to defend and usually come up with a few great looks from a scoring chance perspective. So we'll hope to get Lucchini in. If he clears waivers here today at 2:00, and with Saulnier back, we'll have it 12-6 tonight with Mando starting.
How does that impact the goaltending situation then, with 2 of your 3 goaltenders on the shelf?
Well, I think Bibo's more day to day. So as soon as he can get the swelling down on that finger and get his hand in the blocker, he'll be fine to go. So we're just going to go with an e-bug tonight and reevaluate tomorrow morning. Just happened yesterday for Bibo, actually at the end of practice when he was doing a little bit of extra work with Justin Peters. So, I know Bibo's character and how hard he works and how much he wants to play. So there's no doubt as soon as he can get that hand fully in the blocker, he'll be back out there. So we're going to just wait and see what transpires here over the next 24 hours with his finger.
And lastly, you mentioned the 2 wins against Toronto already this season. How do you kind of look back on those and take some confidence from those victories into the next 2 games against the Marlies?
Well, I think, the last time we beat them was in their building, and was one of our best performances of the year on the road. And, much like what's going on tonight, a little bit of roster fluctuation and maybe some adversity in those areas. But you know what? When you come to play and play to your identity and are mindful of what the other team's strengths are, you can still have success. And that's what we're looking to do tonight.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Okay, thanks, guys.